In this video, the complete guide to a 3-minute breath hold. Coming up. What's up? Gert from GertLeroy.com with Master Freediving. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm a freedive instructor, I dive from breath holds. This channel is all about helping you master freediving, including tutorials, stories and the latest news from the freediving community. And today I'm gonna take you through a complete 3-minute breath hold from beginning till end. So if you're new here, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Alright guys, so I'm gonna start by walking you through the whole 3-minute breath hold, and at the end of the video I'm gonna talk about some practical steps that you need to actually do this, because a 3-minute breath hold is not something that you just jump into. Your body and your mind need some preparation, so make sure you keep on watching till the end. So you're gonna do this laying down on your bed or on a yoga mat, or you can also sit down on a chair. Any position that is comfortable will do. So a breath hold consists of 4 stages: the breathe up, the relaxation phase, the contractions phase and the recovery. Let's start with the breathe up. So the breathe up is the time you spend right before you hold your breath. So the whole goal of this breathe up is to be as relaxed as possible, mentally and physically. Now, when you're a bit stressed, when you're a bit anxious, when you're thinking about the time, how long will I hold my breath, what will my friends think about me, will they think I'm doing good, will they think I'm doing bad, all these thoughts that make people a bit stressed, they consume energy, they consume oxygen. You don't want that. You want to start your breath holds with a maximum amount of energy, oxygen that you have available in your system. And therefore, during the breathe up, you're going to focus on just being calm, relaxed, preparing yourself, being in the right mindset so you can start with a perfect breath hold. Now the way we're going to breathe during that breathe up is called tidal breathing. Now tidal breathing is also being referred as TV breathing or breathing when you're reading a book. It is the most easy and gentle way of breathing, and when you are relaxed you are already tidal breathing. So chances are that right now when you are watching this video, right now you are tidal breathing. You just don't know. So tidal breathing basically comes down to breathing when you don't think about breathing. Technically speaking, that would mean that you are breathing with your diaphragm. So the diaphragm, the flying ribs, they go open and they close again. And the more you get better at tidal breathing, the more relaxed you are, the more pause you take in between those in and exhalations. Now that should not be something you are striving for. It should be something that comes naturally. So instead of focusing on your breathing, I want you to focus on being as relaxed as possible and don't think about breathing. That's gonna be a challenge because we are talking about breathing, but somehow you should find a way to get your mind off breathing and just relax as much as possible. That is called tidal breathing. Now how long should you do this breathe up? Well, the whole goal is of course to relax. So I would say 2 minutes is a minimum. If you can relax after 2 minutes, then that's perfect, then you're all ready to start your breath holds. But if you feel that you need more time, you can go to 3, 4 to 5 minutes just tidal breathing until you feel you are mentally and physically relaxed to start your breath hold. Anything over 5 minutes I would consider already a bit too much, because then you're going to start stressing. It's just going to take too long. But if that would work for you, then there is no problem. There is no real defined number of minutes that you should do this breathe up. Let's say 2 to 5 minutes. And when you're ready, you can take your final breath. Now the final breath is a big breath. 100% of air in your lungs is the opposite of tidal breathing. So you're going to start with your diaphragm, and then the last bit of air you can put into your chest. Now normally when we are relaxed, we're not going to breathe using the chest. That is the way people breathe when they're stressed. But for the final breath, you can use your chest. So you're going to take a big breath using your diaphragm again, and then when you feel that you cannot put any more air in here in this midsection, you're going to use your chest and put the rest of air in here. So it's going to be 1, 2. If you do something like this, that is too fast. You don't have time to put all the air in your lungs. Take, let's say 3, 4, 5 seconds to take your final breath. I will demonstrate. So after your final breath, you obviously are going to hold that breath. And that is where the relaxation phase starts, the second phase of the breath hold. Now the relaxation phase is the most enjoyable part of the breath hold because it's the easiest part. So You want to get the maximum out of this relaxation phase by getting your mind and keeping your mind in the right zone. Now, anything, as I mentioned before, anything that relates to stress, bad thoughts, anxiety, thinking about time, is all stuff that you want to avoid. Now, there are some tricks to achieve this, and I will explain you how. Even for advanced freedivers or breath holders, this is not always that simple, so some tricks might really come in handy. And one of those tricks, and my favorite, is visualization. You're going to visualize stuff that you really like, and then you're going to focus completely, go completely up in that story, so your mind doesn't have time to wonder about other thoughts. Now, I will give you a couple of examples of visualization. What works for me very well is to think about things that happened during my childhood. For instance, I had a friend in my street, and my dad was in the army, his dad was in the army. That back then it was mandatory. So that all both of them still had their army outfits. So my friend and I, as little children, we used to dress up as army men and then walk through the village. Now, when I hold my breath and I want to use this visualization trick, I just think about this and I really go into the details. I see myself walking through the streets of the village where I grew up, and then I think about the houses I was passing by. Did they have a dog? How did the house look like? Who was living there? I try to remember as much details as possible. Now imagine when you're so sucked up in that story, something that happened a couple of decades ago, that is just an awesome thing to occupy your mind with. You don't have time to think about anything negative. You are in such a happy place. Time will just keep on ticking without you even noticing. Now, another example of visualization could be, for instance, I've done some windsurfing before, and I really like the feeling of just going fast and then feeling the water under your board, and you feel the wind and you are just one with nature. It is almost like I'm doing it again, like I'm there on my surfboard again, holding the boom of my sail and letting the winds just push me forwards. It's an awesome feeling. And I really like to think about this during a breath hold. Now, a third example of visualization might be something completely different, something more trivial, I would say. Maybe just think about foods, a certain dish that you like, a certain, I don't know, piece of cake, a Boston slice cake, I don't know, I'm just coming up with something. If you really intensely enjoy eating that, then think about the taste and the smell and how it looks like. I mean, if you can just relive all these sensations while you're holding your breath, then your mind doesn't have time to think about something else. By the way, guys, let me know in the comments below what kind of visualization you like the most. So if you are trying out these different visualization techniques and you feel that your mind still wants to go somewhere else, it might also be a good thing to just let it happen. Don't try to control your thoughts too much. It's a bit like a monkey wanting to jump from one tree to another. If you try to control the monkey, it's never going to happen. A monkey is a monkey, and a monkey jumps from trees to trees. So what you can do, if there are 10 trees, you can tell the monkey, listen, you can jump in that tree, that one, and that one, but not the other ones. And maybe if you make peace with the monkey will say, okay, I can live with that. It's the same with your thoughts. Don't try to control them too much. If they want to wander, sometimes it's better to let them wander freely. Another technique might be the body scan. While you are holding your breath, you just scan your whole body. Now, what does that mean? You start, for instance, with your head, and you make sure that all the muscles are relaxed. You can even do something like this, just to make sure that if there was some tension in your muscles, then now you are aware of it and you can just relax. Then you go over to your neck and relax the muscles again. Shoulders, arms, fingers. Sometimes we have tension in our fingers or other body parts that we don't even are aware of. So it might be a good thing to just squeeze your hands, fingers, and then release again, just to be sure that everything is relaxed. So the whole body scan means that you're going through your whole body and paying attention, be conscious about every single body part, relaxing every single muscle. And another technique I want to share with you during this relaxation phase in the breath holds is just simply singing a song. Or not exactly a song, but more like a one-liner, which we call a mantra. So you might just repeat one sentence over and over and over again. All I know Sad songs, sad songs. If that works, then that's awesome. So while you are visualizing, while you are doing this body scan, while you are playing a song, or maybe while you are just freely letting your thoughts wander wherever they want, your relaxation phase is going on, and you have no notion of time. That's the perfect scenario. Then, at a certain moment, this relaxation phase is gonna come to an end. You're gonna feel a first urge to breathe. Now, in freediving, a first urge to breathe that usually comes with a contraction. We freedivers, we are very conscious about contractions. We know what it is. It is a spasm of the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the big muscle that separates the thorax from your abdominal region. So because you are holding your breath, your levels of carbon dioxide, CO2, are getting higher. And higher levels of CO2 eventually result in a spasm of the diaphragm, which is a contraction. Now, this is the start of your contractions phase. It's completely different than the relaxation phase. All this visualization and body scan and let your mind freely wander, all these techniques to really get into the zone, they probably don't work anymore now, and now it's time to just focus on these contractions and become friends with it. So in the beginning, if you're a beginner and you experience your first contraction, you might think that this is the end of your breath hold, but nothing lies further from the truth. We can hold our breath way longer than the moment these contractions are coming. In fact, these contractions are coming somewhere halfway of a maximum breath hold. So these are involuntary movements of your diaphragm, and it's important to know that there is nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly normal. It doesn't hurt. It is not an unpleasant feeling, but as it is something new, you might be maybe a bit scared of it, and it might be mentally for you a reason to abort your breath holds. Now these contractions, they start very gently, very small, and as you hold your breath longer and longer, they will become also a bit bigger. So in the beginning, you might not even feel your first contraction, but as you hold your breath longer, they will become more noticeable. It's also important to know that they might come in waves. So maybe you will have like 3-4 contractions, and then they will stop for a couple of seconds, and then they will start again. All of this is something that you have to get used to. The more you hold your breath, the more you practice, the more you get used to having contractions, and then these contractions will keep on building up during the course of this contraction phase until they become, let's say, less bearable, more annoying, and then it is time to stop your breath hold. Your contractions will not stop until you start breathing again. So this is a perfect natural mechanism for you to decide when you want to stop holding your breath. If you feel that your contractions are slow and very easy to endure, then you just keep on going. But if at a certain moment you feel that these contractions are coming on stronger and stronger and stronger, that is probably the time for you to decide, okay, I'm gonna start breathing again. So right after you abort your breath hold, you're going to do the recovery phase. What is that? You're going to let your body, give your body the time to replenish itself with the necessary oxygen. Remember, you've been holding your breath for 3 minutes, so the levels of oxygen are low. So it is important that your body gets enough oxygen in as fast as possible so your mind and your body can recover. So how are we going to breathe during this recovery phase? We're going to do the recovery breath, which is something like 50% in and then let it out. 50% in, let it out. So half of the capacity of our lungs. Just make sure you're not fully inhaling 100%. So you can do about 4 to 5 breaths of this, and it looks like this. You will start smiling because you're happy you just held your breath for 3 minutes. Now, I explained you how to do this recovery breath, but in reality you don't really need to know how this works, because you will see this just happens naturally. There is no specific science on how to do a recovery breath. Just make sure you breathe. You will see your body is asking for the oxygen, so automatically you will breathe. It's very similar to what I have just shown. Now when you're done with these recovery breaths, Don't move yet, stay still, make sure your body and mind get the necessary time to recover. It might be you're a little bit dizzy because of the low levels of oxygen, so don't move yet. Now stay with me. Before I round up, just a few practical steps. So we're not gonna jump into this right away. You're not gonna do this 3-minute breath holds just out of nothing. Your body, your mind needs preparation. So we're going to do warm-ups. Now the warm-up is exactly the same as the whole process I've been taking you through, only you're gonna do this till the first contraction. So on your first breath hold attempt, you're going to stop at your first contraction and you're gonna time it. So that way you will know how long it takes for you to hold your breath until your very first contraction. It will also give you the necessary confidence to know that you can hold your breath for a certain amount of time without having contractions. So this is your first warm-up. Now the second warm-up will be exactly the same, but this time until 5 to maximum 10 contractions. Minimum 5, maximum 10. It's up to you to decide. This is probably the first time you're experiencing contractions, so this is something very new to you. So don't push it, don't be too hard on yourself. If you just feel a couple of contractions, maybe 5, 6, that might already be enough, just stop. That is your second warm-up. And now that you know how contractions feel, and you know that this is a part of the breath hold and this is a very natural process, you are ready to jump into your maximum breath holds. Question of the day: how long can you hold your breath? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to know more about mastering freediving, then hit the round subscribe button here, and here I have another video with tips and tricks on how to hold your breath longer. So go ahead and click on that. That's it guys, see you next time. Peace.